Hey there, Tamir from Fibonaccis-Traders.com here with the daily market recap for Thursday, December 15th. One of the most important elements why your trader personality is so vital for your success. Learning to trade is hard enough. Don't make it harder by trying to learn strategies that will never work for your personality or lifestyle. Choose one option from each. Choose your time frame. Choose your chart type. Choose your strategy that works for you. Use risk levels that you can adopt for yourself, for how much you can lose, how much can you handle losing, the size of your loss. Understand each and every aspect of these four options, and then you will become a better trader. This is from Fibonacci-Traders newsletter. It's a weekly newsletter about the psychological side of trading. Link in the description below. Hit the like, subscribe, and let's hit the charts. SPY daily. Now we have the 384 area that needs to hold. Otherwise, we will see. First, we have this gap here that will get filled, and then we might even go all the way to the 370 area and maybe even towards this trend line here. QQQ broke below the 283 area. This area, as we can see, it was a very important support and resistance throughout 2022. Now breaking to the downside, and in my opinion it's going to fill this gap here at the 269 area. And again, this is my opinion only. Everything you see and hear on this channel is for educational purposes only. Never follow blindly anyone on social media. Always do your own due diligence. IWM breaking to the downside from the 178 area, and now, as we can see, 175 is holding. Next support will be the 172. Follow price and use levels to manage risk. Dow Jones, we have a slight broadening formation here. Now let's see if this broadening formation will hold and we will get a bounce back, or if this broadening formation breaks to the downside. First, 322 is the level that needs to hold as support. Probably Santa Rally will not come this year, unfortunately. VIX, sideways move, holding the 21 area. We need it back to the 1940 and maybe even lower towards this trend line here. XLE basically moving sideways in the past few days, holding the 83 area. Now let's see where price will take us. Breaking below this level, and in my opinion we will go to the 77 and maybe even closing these two gaps here. SMH failing one time after another. We can see this trend line price action is failing to break up and above and close it. Now back to the 214, and as we see, this 214 area since mid of November is holding a support, breaking below, failing to hold price here. We can assume that 197, this gap to the downside over here, will get filled, because we know more than 80% of all gaps will get filled throughout time. So SMH might go fill this gap here and make on the short term higher low before the next attempt to break above this major trend line. Net gas holding the 650, but we can see that this trend line here, every time price action tries to break up to the penny, price is getting rejected by this trend line. Now let's see if we will get a slide towards 617 area, and these are the levels to watch to the downside on natural gas. Oil 77 is the resistance to follow. Now we can see we have this trend line here on the short term, lower highs. Every time price reaches this trend line, it gets rejected. Now if we zoom out, we can see that price is getting tighter and tighter price range. Which trend line will get break first? This one here to the downside towards the 69 and maybe even towards the 59, or this trend line here towards the 84. Let me know in the comments below, what do you think? Bitcoin, we can see 18,000 is a very important level. It was support since June. Every time it bounces until it broke to the downside, and now trying to break up, failing. Let's see how this week ends for Bitcoin. For now, 18,000 is a very strong resistance for bulls. Gold, nice bounce since November lows from the 1600s area. We have this trend line to the upside that helps us to identify short-term higher highs. Let's see how it will react. We have also here some kind of an uptrend, short-term uptrend channel. Let's see if we can hit the bottom of the channel and bounce back up. Dollar index continuing to the downside, which is good for the market in general, but as we can see, it doesn't really affect the markets. Now 104 is holding. Below that, we will go and retest the 101. ITB, ETF that needs our attention. This is the home constructions ETF. We have a nice bounce since the low of October at the 50 area. Now, if we look left, zoom out, we can see Fibonacci swing high, swing low, and bounced all the way. Every time it bounces towards the 50% retracement, which is the 63 area, it gets rejected. Now let's see if price can close a weekly above this area. We can assume with high probability that these are the levels to look at to the future potential resistance. Apple back inside this area of the higher lows support. 134 needs to hold this 134. If we look left, during 2022, very important support breaking below, and Apple will go towards the 124. Nvidia, this, we zoom out, we see a major trend line that holds the lower highs and acting as a strong resistance for price action. Now 168 needs to hold, and if we take swing low, swing high, we can see that this area is a very strong support. Failing to hold, 152 on Nvidia will come soon. Tesla, very nice trend line holding the lower lows. Let's see if this trend line will continue to hold the lower lows, and can we get some kind of a bounce, relief bounce on Tesla. If this fails to hold, next level will be the 138 area. Microsoft, again, failing to break up and above this trend line, continuing to the downside, reversing to the downside. Now let's see if 242 will hold. Just by looking left, 242 is a very important level of support and resistance during 2022 especially. Now let's see if this one fails to hold. We have this gap here that will get filled. So if you're long on Microsoft, this is the time to tighten your stop loss and manage your risk much more carefully. Netflix holding inside this short-term uptrend channel, bounced from June's low until a few days ago more than 100%. So a pullback is healthy because stocks go up, they go down. Nothing goes up forever, nothing goes down forever. Now we can see we have the short-term and the long-term Fibonacci levels that tells us that this area, the 284 area, is a very important support. If this breaks to the downside, 252 is next. Shopify, basically, once again, it hit the 43 area, and every time since May 2022, every time Shopify hits this area, it reverses to the downside, and now we have these levels to follow on Shop. 34 is the next support area that needs our attention. Breaking below, we have all these levels to the downside to follow. So once again, thank you very much for watching. We have a new issue of Fibonacci-Traders newsletter coming out very shortly. Sign up, it's free. You will get a weekly newsletter about the psychology side in trading. Thank you very much for watching. Until the next video, do good things.